Skip, how impressive was UNC's run?
First of all, congratulations to you for picking UNC before the tournament started. Way to go. Although you did admit to me that you're a longtime Carolina fan, which I don't really get. How did that happen, by the way?
1981, Skip. I saw them when they lost to Indiana. Isaiah Thomas was, I think, a sophomore, and they got beat. And
That was the Reagan year.
Yeah.
Got shot.
And
I was there.
Because think about, and they were debating whether they're going to play the game or not,
Yep.
right? LSU lost in the earlier, that's when they had Howard, High C. Carter, but we go back. But anyway, the Tar Heels, James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Matt Doherty, Jimmy Black,
82.
Al Wood. No, that was 80.
I know, but then 82 was Michael Jordan.
Skip. And I was just like, I couldn't believe they lost. And then ever since they lost that finals to Indiana in 81, I've been with them ever since.
There you go. Well, you stuck with them, and you were correct, although I'm going to make the case it was as unimpressive a run by a #1 seed and the overall betting favorite going into the tournament as I can ever remember. Again, they were a 1 seed.
Yes.
Vegas said they're the favorite to win it all going into the tournament. We've seen Cinderella runs. I go all the way back to 83. I was there for the Jim Valvano NC State run when they shocked Houston, and I was there. And they were a 6 seed, and they just kept miracle survive, miracle survive, miracle survival. And they somehow survived against Houston on the air ball and the putback. But this was a 1 seed. And I'm going to remind you, I didn't see the 1 seed coming because I did see them lose late in January at Miami, University of Miami, by 15. And they just looked awful. And they looked not very good, losing by 8 to Duke and then by 10 to Duke in the ACC tournament. And in between those games, there was a loss at UVA at Virginia, 53-43, which were the fewest points ever scored by a team in the Roy Williams era for Carolina. And then
if you play Virginia, Skip, you're gonna
you're gonna be 43 is just hard to stomach, and it was harder to watch.
Yes.
So then we enter the NCAA second round. We've talked about it before, but Joel Berry got away with an outrageous either charge or a walk or both at the same time, which turned into an outrageous putback by Kennedy Meeks that completely turned the game against the Arkansas Razorbacks, who were on a roll and on a run and a threat to win that game and shock UNC right out of the tournament. And then against Kentucky, I remind you, Carolina's up 7 with 54 seconds left, and I thought it was over. And obviously, Malik Monk hit 2 big prayers, and all of a sudden, you go to the last seconds, and the game is tied. And who ended the game for Carolina? The walk-on, Luke May. He ends the game with his jump shot. I'm saying, where did he come from, and why was he taking that shot and looking like he's made a bunch of those shots in his life,
Don't think he scored another point since.
Okay, that's right. And he was a no factor last night for sure because he just got lost in the trees, right? So then we get to last night. I'm sorry, we got to do Oregon quickly. You know, your 2 best players, Joel Berry and Kennedy Meeks, each go to the free throw line with under 5 seconds left, and they each miss 2 free throws. And Oregon fails each time to box out and doesn't cash in on 2 chances to go win the game. And I remind you, Oregon went 3 for 18 from the three-point line in the second half, and a bunch of them were just wide open looks. Yes. They just couldn't cash. So now we get to last night, and I'm with Roy Williams. It was an ugly game, and it was hard for me to watch. But somehow Carolina, your pick, won the championship last night, going 4 for 27 from the three-point line. That means 23 times they put up three-point shots that missed, and they still won. And they missed 11 free throws, which is a lot of free throws to miss last night. In a championship game, you missed 23 three-point shots and 11 free throws, and you cut down the nets. It's pretty incredible. And then I got to say that Carolina was extremely fortunate that Nigel Williams-Goss, with about 1:20 left, he tweaked the same ankle, turned the same ankle that he tweaked against South Carolina, and all of a sudden, he's limping around, and he had scored 8 straight points and was hot. This is the West Coast Conference Player of the Year. This is their best player and their best scorer. And all of a sudden, he can't quite get the lift on his next jump shot, or as he's driving the lane, and Kennedy Meeks swats it the other way, and that's the game. So pretty lucky, and then there's the call with 50 seconds left in which the ref is standing right over the Kennedy Meeks scramble for the ball, the scrum. His hand's out of bounds. Really? His hand's out of bounds. And it's a big play in the game because they get the ball back. Carolina retains possession. And Isaiah Hicks makes the shot up off the glass that gives them a 3-point lead. Well, it could have gone the other way, and it could have been, I don't know, a 1-point lead for Gonzaga. So it's just one thing after another. It takes luck to win this, but this is about as lucky a run by a 1 seed as I can ever remember.
I was very impressed, Skip, for the simple fact is the way they lost the game last year in dramatic fashion. And getting back to this point was the only thing that mattered. It was almost like Clemson. They lost the year before to Alabama in dramatic fashion, and their whole thing, if you look at Clemson during the year, they never looked as good during the year as they looked against Alabama that night. And that's what it took. Yeah, they looked bad against Miami. Duke beat them twice. Going down to Charlottesville and only scoring 43 points. But Skip, when the rubber needed to meet the road, the upperclassmen, and this is what you need. Unless you got a Carmelo Anthony who is a transcendent freshman playing college basketball, you better have some upperclassmen that knows how to dig in. And when it came down to it, Joel Berry is a junior. Hit a big three-point shot. Justin Jackson, when they were down 2, guess what? He got a three-point play, put them up 1. They're tied. Guess what? Isaiah Hicks, a senior, got the basket. How he made that basket, Skip, I still don't know because I didn't see that in him. Now, a lot of scouts are going to look at the guy and say, you see how agile he moved to be 6'9", 6'10"? And then Big Kennedy Meeks. I know Big Meeks, the block shot, a senior. That's what you have to have, Skip. Skip, the game was, I don't know if the field goal percentage was so bad because they couldn't get into a rhythm because every time it was, burp, burp. But Skip, one foul that I still don't understand how they call. Joel Berry II stripped the ball from Karnowski. They called him for a foul, and then they called him for a flagrant.
He got hit in the face.
First of all, it was not even a foul on Berry. He got the ball clean.
He got it.
Clean.
I'm with you.
Man, and Skip, think about this. Carolina is the first national champ to shoot under 30% for the entire tournament in 3 points.
Thank you.
And you cut Skip.
You cut the nets down.
You shoot 15% for the game for 3. You shoot 35% from the floor. You shoot about 57, 58% from the free throw line. And you still win the ball game. But I told you the difference of the ball game, Skip, because Carolina had those bigs. They had Meeks, they had Hicks, they had Bradley. That bothered Karnowski.
He was a disaster.
It's
why I was with you on this. It's why Karnowski's not going to be able to play in the NBA. God bless him. But he's 7'1", 300 pounds, and he can't jump one about that far off the floor.
And he's trying to
quick enough.
He's trying to dislodge Meeks, and Meeks not moving. He's trying to get Hicks and Bradley off the spot. They're not moving. So, but Skip, you can't foul Collins out. The dude fouled out with 8, 9 minutes going in the game. You can't foul that guy out. And then you got Meeks with 4. You got Hicks with 4. You got Karnowski with everybody. I'm like, man, this is ridiculous.